They say the most dangerous lies aren't told by people. They're told by trees. In Elara's village, everyone was taught to fear the Whisperwood. They said it was a monster that would lead you to your doom. They were wrong. What if the one thing you were taught to fear was actually crying out for help? For 12-year-old Elara, it all started the night a star fell from the sky, and the forest finally shared its secret. Let's dive in. The last star of the evening wasn't a star at all. 12-year-old Elara watched it from her window, her chin resting on her palm. It didn't twinkle like the others. It pulsed with a soft, silver light, and it was falling, not fast, like a shooting star, but gently, like a glowing feather drifting down from the sky. It landed somewhere in the Whisperwood, the ancient forest that bordered her village. No one in the village of Oakhaven ever went into the Whisperwood after dark. They said strange creatures stirred in the shadows, and that the trees themselves could trick you, changing paths and leading you astray until you were lost forever. But Elara wasn't like everyone else. She didn't have many friends, and she often felt more at home under the quiet watch of the moon and stars than in the noisy village square. The falling star was a secret just for her. With her worn leather boots on her feet and a small flickering lantern in her hand, Elara slipped out of her cottage. The cool night air smelled of damp earth and pine needles. The forest loomed before her, a wall of darkness, but the memory of the silver light pulled her forward. As soon as she stepped under the canopy of leaves, the sounds of the village vanished. A deep silence surrounded her, broken only by the soft crunch of her footsteps. The trees were enormous, their branches like gnarled arms reaching for the sky. Elara held her lantern high, its golden glow pushing back the inky blackness. She walked for what felt like hours, her heart thumping a steady rhythm against her ribs. She wasn't scared. It felt like the forest was holding its breath, waiting. Then she saw it. In a small clearing, nestled among the roots of a giant oak tree, was a stone. It was no bigger than her fist, smooth and dark like a river pebble. But from a crack in its surface, a gentle, silvery light pulsed in time with a faint, humming sound. It was the heart of the fallen star. As Elara reached for it, the humming grew louder and the light brightened. The moment her fingers touched the stone's cool surface, the light flared, and a voice echoed in her mind. It wasn't made of words, but feelings, warmth, curiosity, and a deep, ancient sadness, the voice of the forest. At the same time, the ground trembled. From the shadows, a creature emerged. It was a magnificent stag, but its antlers were not made of bone. They were carved from pure, gnarled wood, and tiny, glowing mushrooms grew along them. Its eyes, deep and black, were not angry but filled with a weary pain. The stag lowered its great head and let out a soft, mournful sound. The silver light from the star stone in Elara's hand dimmed, as if in sympathy. "You are sick," Elara whispered, her voice barely a breath. The stag took a slow step forward. The voice in her mind returned, clearer this time. The Heartwood is fading. The blight spreads. Suddenly, Elara understood. The forest wasn't evil. It was dying. A creeping darkness, a blight, was poisoning it from the inside, and this magical guardian was fading with it. The Starstone hadn't fallen by accident. It was a call for help, and for some reason, she was the one who had answered. The Heartwood, Elara said aloud, testing the word. Where is it? The stag turned its head, its wooden antlers pointing deeper into the woods. A path she hadn't seen before lit up, each stone and twisted root glowing with a faint, mossy light. The Starstone in her hand pulsed with warmth, urging her forward. She knew then that she couldn't turn back. The legends weren't meant to scare people away. They were warnings that the forest's magic was in trouble. Holding the stone tightly, Elara gave the stag a determined nod and stepped onto the glowing path, ready to face the blight and heal the dying heart of the Whisperwood. Her lonely life in the village suddenly felt very far away. She wasn't just Elara anymore. She was the girl who talked to forests, and she had a job to do. The fate of an ancient world now rests on the shoulders of a girl who, until tonight, believed she was ordinary. She holds the light of a fallen star in one hand and the hope of a dying forest in the other. But as she steps onto the glowing path, leaving her old life behind, one question echoes in the shadows. Can she truly heal a world poisoned by darkness, or will the blight consume her too? If you like this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting stories.